Thank you very much for joining us on the USHBA candidate review, Jacob. It's a pleasure to have you. For those that don't know you, could you tell a little bit about yourself and how you came to the hemp space?
Yes, of course. My name is Jacob Waddell. I'll just kind of do a bio, kind of talk about my organizational experience and kind of how I ended up here. My organizational experience starts actually in a youth group called DMOLA, which is a Masonic youth group. At that age, I learned how to run a meeting and how to organize events. I actually rose up to the state leadership in this organization. From there, I went to the University of Florida, where I studied material science and engineering, focusing on polymers. While there, I was the president of the Society of Plastics Engineers at UF. Then I moved north to Atlanta, where I attended Georgia Tech, studying material science and engineering again, focusing on ceramic and polymer composites. When I graduated, I went to work in a materials testing lab, performing analysis and chemical evaluation. And at that point, I left that company and kind of disappeared into Europe. Went backpacking, traveling for about 6 months, came back. I tried to be a musician, did that for a couple of years. And that's actually how I ended up in Nashville, where I live now. After a certain point, I restarted my engineering career, started working at a factory making fuel tanks for boats using rotational molding. From there, I left that company and went to the automotive industry making car parts. Initially, I was an industrial engineer, implementing lean efficiency practices, but was soon promoted to leading teams of engineers to establish new products and programs in our facility. During this time, I obtained my MBA specializing in international business. From these experiences, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to lead an effective, efficient team that runs with compassion and is driven towards team objectives. So that's kind of me before hemp. At this point, I was looking for something to do with my life that I thought would be a positive impact. I just got my MBA, gained all these skills over years or so of development, and looking for a way to impact the world. What I saw was the effect of plastics on the environment. I tried to figure a way to help impact and affect that issue. And with my research, I came to hemp as the most logical conclusion for an effective implementation of a good solution. So I left my job in the automotive industry and started working and researching hemp, and primarily as a means to build small objects, pots and things like this. But I was really trying to work through some materials capability questions, wall thickness and things like that. Anyway, after doing some analysis of the industry, I saw that there was some economic hurdles that still needed to be met before I could find a full career in that. So I ended up working with a local cosmetics company that specializes in CBD products. I became the COO of Ology Essentials. This job allowed me to interact in the hemp world and use my MBA, trying to use policies and practices I had learned and always believed would be effective in a team setting. And I think pretty successfully making a good cooperative team environment, which was my ultimate goal. During this time, I was constantly looking for ways to enter back into hemp building and using hemp as an alternative for plastics. I stayed involved in the TNHIA and watched the industry start to get its feet. And then, like so many members of the USHBA, this led me to a trip to Idaho. The Industrial Hemp Summit helped me invigorate my spirit and let me know that other people out there were working for the same goal. I think that was a turning point for a lot of us, and it was a very special event. Anyway, I became a member of the USHBA and started working on developing a demo of these pots I was making for the NOCO event. And as everyone knows, COVID happened, and this was never really to be. So about 6 months ago, I was lucky enough to join with the Regional Leadership Committee of the USHBA, and kind of became a fourth wheel, I guess, kind of stabilizing. And as a team, we have been able to make some progress achieving actionable goals and trying to set up a base for which we can grow membership and impact our local communities. That really is the root of the future of our industry, is to start local and make this a local event so that we're not shipping things from other countries or other things that impact our carbon footprint and the economic success of this industry. We have organized our leaders into regions. We've performed outreach to understand the needs of our leaders. And from that feedback, I've started initiatives to make tools for regional leaders to use in outreach, allow for effective communication within their regions.
It's great that you bring both a business perspective and the actual technological perspective in terms of the material science, because that's very important in this industry to understand both of those aspects. So, how do you think, you taking this knowledge and information that you have and the experience that you have, how do you think you will be a great board member?
So I guess the biggest thing I have to offer is my organizational and leadership background. I know how to make teams and understand the difference between management and leadership. There's a great deal of potential in this group from the people I've interacted with, and I know the strength that is out there. If we can harness our collective energy and momentum, we can make a greater impact than any of us could make alone. In the last 6 months, I believe the work that I have done with the Regional Leadership Committee speaks louder than anything I can say here. We have made content, organized leaders, and started initiatives to prove our ability to grow. Time has come for action and leadership. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and most people working for the USHBA are doing this along with another job. This means efficient use of time is important to make it viable for most of us. I understand this. I work well with teams, and I've been leading groups for over 2 decades, from my youth group to being an important player in a corporation to running a small business. My desire is to help run effective teams and organize the association into an efficient machine that can allow us to achieve amazing things. I'm just asking for the opportunity to do this.
Absolutely. It sounds like actions speak louder than words in all cases. That's very, very good to hear. And where do you see the U.S. hemp construction market being in the next 5 years? And how do you think, what does the road look like to get there?
Okay, so predicting the future is a measurement of probabilities. I believe what we do as an association can greatly influence what will happen. If we work together to create an image of a serious industry and gather the necessary information to argue the improvements hemp can make in the building industry, I believe we will be able to catch the interest and gain the confidence of major industry and government bodies. With this, I believe we can grow the hemp industry into a viable alternative to current building options and start gaining momentum. With the current global awakening of potential devastating effects of our current behaviors on the environment, I believe we could push for legislation that helps support the burgeoning industry with the use of carbon credits and possible subsidies for plant that can have a beneficial effect on the environment. With a fuller understanding of the health benefits of moving forward towards building with hemp from the general public, I believe we can see a huge push for moving towards hemp in construction from health professionals as well as health-minded consumers. As major industry sees the economic potential coming to fruition, we will see the development of necessary infrastructure to make the industry work. I envision us working together with other hemp organizations and groups to accomplish this. Together we are stronger. Together we can make a difference.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us, Jacob. It's a pleasure to hear from you, and very much luck is given to you for the election. And I hope you get through to the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aiden.